Probably a little bit.
By nature of the job, a little bit, no?
Yeah, but for the way they want to play, having a kicker like that is a guy.
Oh, because you always say that 4 downs. They play with 4 downs.
They play with 4 downs, and once they get past the 50, they're in field goal range.
Listen, I love Justin Tucker as my former teammate. I spent 3 years down there in Baltimore. I mean, listen, he's a phenomenal kicker, the best kicker in the game. But all the credit that we give kickers is what they do when they go to the bank the following Monday and cash the check.
Okay.
I ain't giving the kicker the credit for the Ravens reeling off 12 straight wins. That's your job.
That's a little college football-esque what's behind us right there. That's the marching band. Some marching band spelling out Big Trust.
Yep.
Big Trust is.
I like that.
Also got to shout out the Ravens breaking the team single-season rushing record.
Absolutely. And first team ever to average 200 and 200 rushing and passing in the season. What happened there, Jenna?
Back to our top story. Patriots hosting the thought-to-be-tanking, thought-to-be-done Finnish Miami Dolphins. 17-point favorites coming in. Remember, the Pats blew them out back in week 2. But yesterday, when they needed the win to secure the bye, they couldn't do it. Losing to Miami at home. That loss plus the Chiefs' win over the Chargers drops the Patriots to the 3 seed. That means they will host the Titans on Wild Card Weekend. All right, Nick, given everything you've been saying all season and then what you saw culminate yesterday, is there any chance the Patriots can win the Super Bowl?
Win?
Win.
The Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl.
No. No.
You can't beat the Dolphins at home in week 17?
I mean, I feel like no, New England, no. And you know it too. And your coach knows how shaky you are, which is why he didn't even go for it at the end of the first half. Minute 45, 2 timeouts, what you could have had at the end of the first half. Tie game, no, let's just go into halftime because we don't want our 42-year-old quarterback to do again what he had done about 30 minutes prior in real time, which is throw a perfect pass to a former Patriot who plays defensive back for the Dolphins to go the other way. This was the biggest upset against the spread in the NFL in 20 years. Look at this dime. 2 Patriots right in the middle. Okay. I'm very curious to find out. I'm just curious who ran the wrong route there. I'm sure we'll find out about it later. Listen, it's hard to blame Brady. You can't blame Brady just for this. I understand Brady got outdueled by Ryan Fitzpatrick, but in Fitzpatrick's defense, he's 5 years younger than him. But the Patriots defense, which had carried them, Canty, to their 8-0 start. 8-0 when they had a point differential of, 189 through 8 weeks, when they looked like an all-time defense, and when Brady wasn't clearly deteriorating the way he is now. That pass defense got shredded on the most critical moments of the game. This team, since that 8-0 start, that's when they look like a Super Bowl contender. Since then, point differential's gone from plus 189 to plus 6. Their record's gone from 8-0 to 4-4. They've lost to every relevant AFC team except for Buffalo. And I said it then, and I will say it again, that Bills game from 9 days ago, because it was on Saturday, was great. The Patriots played their best game of the year by far, and Brady was sensational. It is more likely that that game will be remembered as Tom Brady's final great game as a Patriot than it will be remembered as the moment the Patriots turned it around. And we now know they didn't turn it around because they just lost a game they never lose, Canty. Not only at home, huge favorites, bye on the line, and you can speak to the importance of the bye. Well, the fourth quarter lead. Yeah. Fourth quarter lead at home. They were 135-1 in 136 games since Brady took over. Up 4 at home in the fourth quarter. Up 4 or more. And then you let Fitzmagic go there and beat you? Okay. No, Super Bowl. Please, Super Bowl.
Yeah, Fitzmagic had to drive the length of the field, 75 yards with around 4 minutes left to go. With the strength of your team on the field and you can't find a way to get a stop, that's got to be disappointing. But it felt like the entire game yesterday that defense was all out of favors for that offense. The Patriots defense have been carrying them all year, and we were saying because they were so good, they were going to afford Tom Brady and company time to figure it out. But usually this time of the year, the Patriots have it figured out. Guess what? They don't have it figured out, which is why I don't have a lot of confidence in them going into the second season. I don't have a lot of confidence in them facing off against the Titans in Wild Card Weekend. So I looked at yesterday's game as an indictment not only on Tom Brady, but on that Patriots team as a whole, just because they had no business losing to the Miami Dolphins. It was a team that they had blown out earlier in the year down in Miami. Now, they had Antonio Brown. It was a different offense with him on the field. But this Patriots offense just has not been able to figure it out. They've been one one-dimensional. They can run the football. But Tom Brady and his receivers, they haven't been on the same page.
Right.
You throw in the pick six and then the other fumble that they lost. James White put it on the ground. Those were just too many mistakes for them to overcome in yesterday's game.
And now they don't have the extra week to try to regroup and put something together to shore up that defense again, to get something going on offense.
Kenny, when's the last time they didn't have a bye?
2009.
What happened?
They ran into the Baltimore Ravens, and Ray Rice ran up and down the field, hit his head on the goalpost.
So they've had a decade straight of a bye, and since 2010 a bye, 2011 they made the conference championship every year, in part because they've only had to win one game, and it's been a home game. And the team that deprived them of the bye is a Dolphins team that in September, here's some of the things that were written about the Dolphins team from the Miami Herald, their hometown paper. Worst team ever? Dolphins have become national joke. From Forbes, Dolphins on pace for worst offense and worst defense in NFL history. From the Washington Post, 0-16 is possible for Miami. Well, a funny thing has happened in the route to 0-16. Here's a number for you. Since November 1st, we are almost to January. Who has more wins, the Miami Dolphins or the New England Patriots?
Really?
Because the answer is the Miami Dolphins. They got 5 of them. The Patriots got 4 of them. If you think the Patriots are going to go to Jack and his magic beanstalk with some beans and get some all-time greatness out of nowhere, the Titans are a tough out.
Yes.
Listen, everybody knows I'm from Kansas City. The Chiefs are my team. I wanted nothing to do with the Titans, with Derrick Henry being able to run the ball 40-some times.
Didn't the Titans beat
Kansas City earlier this year? And then if they get through the Titans, where do they go now? To Kansas City, who's already beaten them in New England. And if they somehow get through that game, I won't be here, but still, if they somehow get through that game, then they're almost assuredly going to Baltimore, who's already whooped them once this season.
And if they didn't play Baltimore, they'd probably be playing who? The Texans?
The Texans.
Who's already beat them.
You know what? Exactly right. So you find me the path. There's a reason that right now, hey, if you think we're wrong here, you can make a lot of money. The Patriots are 18-1 to win the Super Bowl. A little $100 bet gets you $1,800 if you think they can win the Super Bowl. I don't think they can get within a couple games of winning the Super Bowl, but we'll get to find out starting for the first time since Obama's first year as president on Wild Card Weekend, watching the New England Patriots play.
All right, let's move on to the Cowboys and their needs and their wants. Dallas needed a win and an Eagles loss if they wanted to get to the postseason. They did get the win, routing Washington. They didn't get an Eagles loss as Philly pulled away from the Giants to win the NFC East. Eagles are moving on. Cowboys are heading home, leaving Jerry Jones to answer many questions about the future of his franchise, most notably about his head coach, Jason Garrett.
Out of respect to Garrett, would you kind of make a quick decision just so he won't be twisting to a certain extent?
Again, I'm not going to comment on anything to do about those guys. Just I really know that that's the order of things and what we want to hear and talk about. If I've got anything to say of substance tonight, other than my disappointment about not being in the playoffs, but I'm not going to get into that out of respect for everybody.
Chris Kenny, how much of what happened with the Dallas Cowboys this year can you pin on Jason Garrett?
Well, I think he has to take some of the blame for what happened. He is the head coach of this football team, but I actually put more blame on the owner, Jerry Jones, because he's the one that allowed Jason Garrett to go into this season without having any job security. Jason Garrett was on the final year of his contract in 2019, and there's a reason why most organizations don't allow a coach to be a lame duck coach in a season where they have championship aspirations. But that's exactly what Jerry Jones opted to do. He felt like Jason Garrett, up until that point, hadn't earned the right to have a contract extension, and I understand what Jerry Jones was looking at. I mean, Jason Garrett, in his 9 full seasons as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, is 85-67, only had 3 playoff berths, 2 playoff wins. And so if you've been the coach for the team for the majority of this decade, and you haven't found a way to get this team to the NFC Championship game, for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations, I could understand the hesitancy to extend Jason Garrett, but I also understand that Jerry Jones didn't have to say much to the media after this game because we all know what's going to happen. The Dallas Cowboys are going to part company with Jason Garrett.
And they should. This might not be all his fault, but he had all the tools in place in order for this to be a special Cowboys season. The Eagles are the most injured team in football. and their quarterback struggled mightily to start the season. So your only live team in your division, Philly, has a very disappointing year itself, failing to get to double-digit wins. You are healthy. You're healthy compared to the league average. Not a perfect health, obviously. Your quarterback starts the year spectacularly. New offensive coordinator. You get your running back in week 1 of the season when you were worried maybe he's going to hold out. Everyone's there. You start out 3-0. You look spectacular. And since then, you prove to be the biggest disappointment in your entire conference. And if not for the Fighting Freddie Kitchens, you would have been the biggest disappointment in the whole league. And the Cowboys' numbers say it has to be on coaching, because they are plus 113 point differential. That's top 6 in the NFL. Every team that had a plus greater than 30 point differential made the playoffs. 10 of them did, actually, except for the Dallas Cowboys. They average an average game for Dallas. They outscored their opposition by a touchdown, outgained them by 100 yards. They became just the 8th team in NFL history to score at least 25 points per game, have 400 yards of offense a game, and finish at 500 or worse. The other 7 all had bottom 5 defenses. The Cowboys defense ranked number 9 in the NFL. What is that other than situational coaching? What is that other than the inability to beat the best opponents or to win close games? 0-7 this year in games decided by less than 10 points. 0 victories against double-digit win teams. Jason Garrett is a good man, and he's probably going to land on his feet. Pat Shurmur just got fired. He might be hired. Jason Garrett might be hired by the Giants this week. So he's going to get another shot at this. But this was his opportunity to prove the doubters wrong this season, and they fell flat at every turn. For the 4th time in his 9 full seasons as a head coach, Canty, they had a win and you're in game against a divisional opponent in week 7.